Nocturnal Detectives is a community science project that seeks to improve human health, the local bat community, and ecosystem services through a cooperative national sampling of bat distribution in Peru. This study considers the participation of communities in obtaining information about bat species and their presence using acoustic methods. As a result of community participation and conversation with scientists, we expect to promote positive perception of bats and decrease negative interactions with them. Less direct interaction between humans and bats reduces the risk of virus transmission, such as rabies. Simultaneously, the information about bat distribution obtained by community participation will be relevant to future bat conservation measures around Peru. In June 2023, we developed this study in the San Pablo de Cuyana community, a small community of 180 people located in the middle of the Amazonas. We needed to travel from Iquitos and cross the river on a 45-minute trip. The first step was to recruit door-to-door participants for the project. Their participation involved the installation of an acoustic detector in their houses for 3 nights. Acoustic detectors are special equipment that records the ultrasound generated by bats. At night, the detector turns on and records ultrasounds around 30 meters. Each bat species produces sounds in a different frequency that allows for differentiation. After 3 nights, our team picked up the detectors, analyzed the data, and shared the results of the bats registered around their homes with them. Community members who agreed to participate were interviewed about their previous experience with bats, their knowledge and perception of these animals. We recruit 8 participants. They express a close relationship with bats as they often see them flying around their houses. Contrary to our belief, they know a lot about bats. They identify different types of bats and recognize species by their fur color, ones that eat fruits, insects, and others that feed on blood. They had problems with bats feeding on their cows and chicken, which pushed them to take action on their own, and in some cases, they describe setting fire to bats roosting. Nevertheless, they recognize bats are important for a reason. They knew there was one, but it was unclear to them what it was. After the interviews, we stayed in the community to put nets and capture bats to obtain audiovisual materials on bats in San Pablo de Cuyana. Bats who feed on blood have a unique type of nose similar to a pig nose that differentiates them from other species. Frugivorous species are bigger and have a nose in leaf shape. Insectivorous species have a less prominent nose and big ears, and nectarivorous bats have an elongated snout. Showing these differences to participants was particularly relevant because during our conversation, we noticed that differentiating species by fur color was problematic. After all, some species are very similar, and at night, it's easy to confuse a species by color. After showing photos of bat species to the participants, one recognized they had set fire to the roost of frugivorous bats, thinking it was a roost of bats that feeds on blood. Later than explaining the physical differences in their faces, they could better distinguish which species feed on blood and which do not. Photos were crucial for making this distinction. After 3 nights, we returned to the community to pick up the acoustic detectors. In this intermission, we reflect on the following steps to work with the community. The community has received help from health authorities to control the bat population, but they still have some incidents with these animals. The community control over the bat population is probably affecting not only species that feed on blood, but also insectivorous, nectarivorous, or frugivorous species that provide ecosystemic services such as plague control, pollination, and seed dispersion. For this reason, as a mitigation action, we show them how to distinguish different species of bats to avoid targeting species that are not affecting them. Also, to reduce the health risk from direct contact with these animals, such as rabies transmission, we share with them caution measures they need to take when interacting with bats, such as handling individuals using gloves or heavy fabric. After analyzing the data, we return to the community to present the results to the participants and give them general information about bats, such their diversity, diet, and ecosystem service. We registered 35 bat species in the community using acoustic and capture methods. 22 were insectivorous, 8 frugivorous, 2 nectarivorous, 2 piscivorous, and only 1 that feeds on blood. Even though participants knew about the existence of bats in the area, they were impressed by the number of bat species registered, the dominance of the one that feeds on insects, and the presence of bat species that feeds on fish. They value the information about the ecosystem services bats provide and identify those services as the reason for their importance. Moreover, they communicate their understanding of the caution measures when directly manipulating these animals. We gave participants key rings with bat faces, showing them how to recognize their physical appearance and differentiate the one that feeds on blood from the others in their daily activities. As a final activity, we made a cyanotypy activity for the kids to give back to the community. We talked with the kids about bats and their experience with these animals, and then they portray any figure they consider related to bats. We are still analyzing people's perception of bats and the change in the response before and after participating in this community science study. This experience built a stronger relationship with the community, who invited us to their 96th anniversary. As is typical, we brought rings to celebrate. We ate juane, a traditional dish prepared with rice, chicken, and aromatic species, all wrapped in a banana leaf. And we tried masato, a traditional drink made of tapioca. We are profoundly grateful to the team that made this project possible, Raisa and Samantha, who were local researchers who introduced us to the community, Amanda and Jaime, and all our participants who were part of this study. Thanks to our sponsors, Cornell Atkinson Center for Sustainability, Latin American and Caribbean Studies, and College of Agriculture and Life Science for belief in this project. See you soon.